Hi, I'm Catherine Gordon. Welcome to the Sugar Freedom channel. This is where I share how I gained the weight, how I lost it, and how I keep it off even after age 58. This video isn't just for women after menopause. If you've ever struggled with your weight, if you've ever struggled to keep off the weight you've lost, this video might be helpful. There's two main issues I want to deal with on this video, and all of this you can read about it on my blog at catherinetraining.com if you go there. You can find a link to an important article about reward deficiency syndrome, and you can also find a link to my free food program. So let's get into the important issues of how I gained it, how I lost it, and how I keep it off. When I was just a kid, my unwanted weight gain started with two conditions, one of them genetic and one of them environmental. The genetic condition was an anomaly of the A1 allele of the D2 dopamine receptor. I know that's a mouthful. You can go to catherinetraining.com and read the article. That anomaly on the dopamine receptor causes reward deficiency syndrome. And what are the symptoms of reward deficiency syndrome? Overeating, fatigue, lack of motivation, difficulty focusing. And reward deficiency syndrome is also being studied so that people can understand its connection to other addictions like drugs, alcohol, or even gambling. I believe that dopamine resistance and reward deficiency syndrome had a hand in my childhood habit of overeating. The second issue is more environmental, and I may have acquired as a child, and that is insulin resistance. I know I had insulin resistance as a child because of my eczema, and I even found a study from the 1920s that looks at glucose intolerance, insulin resistance, and a low carbohydrate diet to treat eczema way back in the 1920s. So starting at a very young age, I had the symptom of eczema, and then when I was just a few years older, studies came out from Ansel Keys blaming cholesterol and animal fat for heart disease, and also my father started to have issues with high blood pressure. So my mother's doctor had her put all of us on a low-fat, higher carbohydrate diet. So we replaced some of the whole foods that we had been eating with boxed cereals, more convenient foods. Fast forward to my pregnancy, severe glucose intolerance, and obesity. So I had already been dealing with dopamine resistance and insulin resistance, and I had managed that by smoking and drinking diet sodas and dieting and taking diet pills and just basically white knuckling through my young womanhood and managing to pretty much maintain a healthy normal weight with some not normal activities. But when I was getting ready to become pregnant, I quit smoking, quit the diet pills, and really focused on getting healthy. And it did work, but I had already started to gain a little bit of weight. And then when I did get pregnant, yay, a few months into my pregnancy, I failed my glucose tolerance test and I developed PIH, pregnancy-induced hypertension, which includes high blood pressure, swelling of the extremities, and rapid weight gain. Thank heaven, I did deliver a healthy baby. Our son Colin is 21 years old now. Unfortunately, after I had my son, I simply could not lose the weight. I lost about 20 pounds of the, oh my goodness, 80 pounds or more that I had gained, but then my weight loss stalled. What had happened was that I had insulin resistance. I definitely had glucose intolerance, high blood glucose, and I was on my way to type 2 diabetes. 7 years after I had my son, I was still at a clinically obese weight. So that's the story of how I gained it. Here is the story of how I lost it. The most important thing I did was eliminate corporate carbohydrates. Now, what do I mean by that? I had discovered a new training program, which included resistance and interval training. But there were also some nutrition guidelines to go along with it. And I'll never forget what that first simple guideline was. Nothing out of a bag or a box. And when you think about it, any food that's coming in a bag or is coming in a box has been processed in some way. And when I talk about corporate carbohydrates are those plant foods that have been modified by a company to either last longer or to be irresistible. So when you're pulling something off of the shelf or it's in a bag or in a box, ask yourself, has this been modified in some way to make me want to eat more of it? There was also another old piece of advice that worked really well for me. Have you ever heard this tip? shop the outside aisles. Starting on the left, you'd find everything that you would find at the farmer's market, the fruits, the vegetables, the produce. And then at the back of the store, you've got all of your dairy, your milk, your butter, and your eggs. And then you have all your meat. So that's what you would find at the butcher. And then on the right-hand side of the store are the different cheeses that I like to eat. So I do definitely shop the outside aisles of the store. And I also think in terms of a local farmer's market diet where you have your produce, dairy, meat, and then I guess more dairy on the side. If I was to put my diet advice into one sentence, it would be: reduce your carbohydrates to the point where you're no longer experiencing hunger and cravings. That's it. And that's what I continue to do. As I have aged, I've continued to draw down the amount of carbohydrates in my food plan in order to achieve satiety. Because this is what is going on in my body. If I eat anything that breaks down into glucose, whether it's an apple or broccoli or pastries, it all does eventually. Carbohydrates do break down into glucose. If I have too much of that glucose, that's when I end up overeating, and that's when I also get all of the symptoms of my reward deficiency syndrome and insulin resistance, also known now as hyperinsulinemia. So as I have aged, the amount of glucose, the amount of carbohydrate that I can tolerate has gotten smaller. The very good news is when I get my nutrition from non-carbohydrate foods, and yes, that does include eggs and dairy and cheese and some meat, when I get my nutrition in that way, I'm full, I'm satisfied, and I can get on with enjoying my life. Because what I have discovered is in terms of reward deficiency syndrome and insulin resistance, in my case, both of those issues are resolved by a low carbohydrate diet. So the idea is that if you're interested in trying a low carbohydrate diet, why not step down the way I did? Focus on nothing out of a bag or a box, or focus on vegetables that grow above the ground and low sugar fruits. But what I want to leave you with is the idea that you're going to be a detective in the world of food, and that you're going to find the foods that nourish and satisfy you. And I believe that that is easier if you know why certain foods don't nourish and satisfy you. And that might be because of the two conditions, reward deficiency syndrome and insulin resistance. And then one more element of the solution was to find exercise that I enjoyed and that was effective. And for me, that's resistance training, intervals, and of course, dancing for fun. So that's it from the Sugar Freedom channel. I hope that you will go to katherinetraining.com. You can read the article. You can read the more in-depth article on reward deficiency syndrome. As always, be well, eat for yourself, and come back soon to the Sugar Freedom channel. Thanks, everybody.